Keep to the north and cross upstream. The Black Bridge belongs to the Garleans, for now. The bridge over the Veladina River has always held great strategic importance, hence the Garleans' decision to transform it into a fortified installation. Needless to say, we will not be crossing there. If anyone can determine the fate of Shinryu and Omega, it's Master Garland. For now, let us remain focused on our current mission. I do hope you're not thinking about running off to help Master Garland. It is not your duty to solve all of the world's problems, you know. Well, no, we would theoretically get to that after dealing with the immediate threat, but were Omega not a threat to us all, its effectiveness in subduing draconic foes would seem almost admirable, but such weapons are doomed to be misused. Let us pray we never have need of its services again. Lys takes the lead. Lys is eager to leave Castrum Oriens. As you've probably heard, there are plenty of factions in the Resistance, so I'm taking us to see the one with the most influence. Their headquarters are located in a place called Ralger's Reach, an old temple to the east of here, across the Veladina River. I learned a route that should allow us to avoid Imperial patrols. Stick with me and we'll be there before you know it. I just got caught up there for a second thinking, because I think I've always just at least pronounced it in my head Veladina, but it might actually be Veladina. I don't know. Or that may even be wrong too. They call it East End because it marks the end of the Black Shroud. Note the sparser vegetation. On your guard, the Imperials know these lands better than we. It's so quiet, almost as though the Imperials haven't been here for some time. At the risk of upsetting the cartographic fraternity, I can't help observing that East End depends entirely on one's perspective. I mean, people don't even think of it as Gridania anymore, do they? It's true. Still with me? Good. From here, we'll head northeast towards the river. The water's not too deep, so we won't have to swim. It makes you kind of wonder why the bridge was ever even constructed if, you know, like this seems like an easier path to get across. I mean, I guess given like the Ananta settlement there and stuff, it may just be a way of avoiding them. Your soul is right. We need to cross before the Imperials spot us. We should not linger out here in the open. See, brother? Nothing to worry about. Though no one would blame you for donning your buoyancy aids just in case. Oh, man. At a glance, it certainly seems shallow enough. I don't see any soldiers. Good, let's cross. You're wondering about the tower to the south? It's part of Castellum Veludina. That's what the Imperials decided to call the old bridge after they fortified it. I call it a great big eyesore. Honestly, you can see that rotten banner from absolutely mounds away. They never miss a chance to rub our noses in it, do they? Come on, we should keep moving. Yeah, this is certainly not the prettiest terrain. I was just thinking the zone outside Bostic, I think, in 11. I'm blanking on it, but this kind of looks like that. I remember Saruta Baruta, but that's the Taru Taru. That's outside of. I was gonna say Westfall. It's not Westfall. It's Windurst. So many MMOs in my head. Are we there yet? So the reach lies beyond, but I do not see a path. It's right there. Oh, I never actually noticed to pay attention that the path actually ends there. You get so used to just like flying into the zone. And we didn't run afoul of even a single patrol. What a pleasant surprise. In that there were no surprises. Least did well. It is reassuring. We're here. On the other side of this pass is Ralger's Reach. So you say, but all I see are rocks. I presume there is some sort of trick to this? Yeah, climb the rocks. Indeed, a glamour. Oh, interesting. Good eye, Y'shtola. I take it they have a talented mage in their ranks, or mayhap an artificer trained in the modification of glamour prisms. Something like that. The important thing is that it fools the Garleans. Oh, before we go in, I don't know if Tataru told you, but my friend Nago, the messenger who came to the Rising Stones, is a member of this faction. So they know us, and they shouldn't attack us on sight. That said, they can be a bit jumpy, so let me lead the way, and don't go reaching for your weapons or anything. And with a sprinkle of demasking dust, all is laid bare. Okay, so I'm used to this look. I thought maybe they kept the glamour up. I mean, because it does seem dumb. Presumably, what she just did would unmask it for everybody, right? I suppose you could disguise almost anything with a glamour prism if you really wanted to. Have you ever used one? Why am I asking? Of course you haven't. uh, kind of doing it right now. Seeing it now, I feel rather foolish for not having deduced it earlier. Let us pray that they are amenable to our proposal. United, we stand to accomplish so much more. Well, yeah, it's like people are coming in to say, yeah, like, we want to help you. The only thing I would imagine they would be hesitant about is thinking if it's like a Garlean ruse or something. Impressive or no, 20 years is a long time for even so complex a glamour to escape the Empire's notice. All clear. Let's go, let's go.
I remember the old stories, how the breaker of worlds came down from on high and cleft the earth with a single blow. Ralga's Reach, a holy place and a fitting home for the resistance, for the brave and the true, the loyal sons and daughters of Alamigo. They were waiting for us there, men and women whose souls still cried out for what was lost, for what could be ours again.
It's like they were expecting us. I mean, it's not crazy to assume that they have, like, lookouts for anybody getting close to, you know, to the camp or whatever. It's hard to feel at ease with that giant statue looking down on you. This temple was once home to the Fist of Ralgar, as I recall. Yes, there's no mistaking that statue. Ordinarily, I'd shudder at the thought of armed rebels trampling about in an ancient temple of immense historical importance. But Ralgar is the breaker of worlds, so it seems rather appropriate, if anything. Fascinating, a massive, nigh imperceptible glamour encompassing the entire valley. I see now how the settlement was able to escape the watchful eyes of Imperial airships. It's good to see Nago up and moving again. I wasn't there when she headed home, so I naturally assumed she'd left too soon. Always overdoing it, that one. A pleasure to see you again, and Kral and Y'shtola, without whose help I might not be standing here today. At least, not so soon. Ho, so you really came. I never thought I'd see you here, but I'm glad. I'm glad. You'll forgive us our precautions, but we couldn't be sure who had crossed the barrier. We see you now for who you are, though. The scions of the Seventh Dawn. Okay, just had to check. The promise of a new beginning. Conrad knows the purpose of your visit and would like to give you a proper welcome. Now, I know you would not have come all this way unless you had something important to discuss, and I'm eager to hear what it is you have to say. But let's not do this on our doorstep, huh? Come with me. Yeah, Ralgar's Reach was the one that I was expecting would be the next Idleshire. You know, because it's just a ruin. But I mean, I guess considering, you know, it's the liberation of Alamigo, so... Or even, they never did anything really with Alamigo either. Maybe an Endwalker, who knows? Probably not, though. We plan operations here when we're not entertaining important guests like yourselves. When we first met back in the Shroud, I took you for just another adventure. By Rhalgr, I still can't believe how far you've come. Have we met Mefred before? Because I know the name sounds familiar, but I just assumed it was because I recognized him from Stormblood. Hmm.
Allow me to welcome you once more to Rhalgr's Reach, our humble headquarters. My name is Conrad Kemp, and I have the dubious honor of overseeing operations here.
It is a pleasure to meet you, Master Kemp. I am Alphino Leveilleur, of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, as are my comrades. Before I speak of our purpose here, pray allow me to thank you for sheltering Ida, forgive me, Lys, and Papalymo at great risk to yourselves.
No, there's no need for that. They risked their necks for us enough times. 'Twas the least we could do.
I wanted to, I mean, about the mask and...
Don't fret over that. You're not the first person to take up arms against the Empire under a false name. We'd do the same if we had any sense. My condolences for your loss, child.
Papalymo laid down his life to save us, to give us a chance to make a better future for ourselves. There will never be a better time to drive the Garleans from our lands. But we have to take the lead on this. We can't leave it to fanatics like Ilberd.
More than a few of our people were taken in by his promises. Followed him all the way to the wall. Good men and women who never came back. When Monargo told us what had happened, how the bastard had made sacrifices of them for his twisted ritual, by Rhalgr it filled me with an unholy fury. But what's done is done. Best we can do now is see that it wasn't all in vain.
That is why we are here today, sir, to see that some good comes of this tragedy. On behalf of the Eorzean Alliance, we do hereby extend a formal offer of military assistance to the Alamegan resistance.
Do you now? Well, go on then. I'm sure there's more to it than that.
We've got a warrior of light. Pretty much just follow her lead.
So that's the way of it, eh? The Alliance, hoping to avoid a direct confrontation with the superior forces of the Empire, wishes to engage them by proxy with our vastly inferior ones. My comrades and I must confer on your proposal. A moment, if you please.
Of course, Master Kemp. Take all the time you require.
I mean, he basically just called you out. And you're just like, yeah, sure, talk it out. We'll need to call the other senior members together before we can make a decision. You've a heart of gold, Lavenza. We could have never come this... Oh, that's... has nothing to do with this. Ignore that. So the Gridanians are finally willing to fight, huh? Papalymo and I weren't entirely honest with you. Though we were sheltered in Little Alamigo at first, we spent most of our time here working with Conrad and his people. But you probably guessed that the moment I led you to the Reach, didn't you? Something like that. So they would have us wait. Very well. I can't imagine that they would refuse, but if they did... It's funny just thinking about Y'shtola's comment, This is all kind of a military operation, and anybody in the military knows full well, hurry up and wait. It's not as though we have to stand around here indefinitely, do we? A haven for the bold. Alphino is pondering how best to make use of your leisure. So, it would seem we find ourselves with a surfeit of free time. Ooh. Hey now. Ah, forgive me. You are free to look around Ralger's Reach. In fact, I would encourage you to do so. It'll give you a better grasp of our current circumstances. Thank you, Master Kemp. I believe we will do just that. Let us make the most of this opportunity and assess the Resistance's capabilities. Free to poke our noses wheresoever we will, huh? I like the sound of that. Well, I already know this place inside and out. I can show you around if you like, Lavenza. Please do. Great. Let's get started. I'll bet you think the Resistance is mostly made up of Alamegan Highlanders like me. Which is crazy to even think that she's a Highlander. Again, like I was talking about, where they'll use different body types. I mean, before it was like mixing and matching to create kind of unique characters. But in this case, it's just like, no, she has like a Midlander body, but she's a Highlander. But the truth is that we don't even account for half. We've got Hellsguard from all the way over by the spine in here, and plenty of Seekers of the Sun like Nago. There's even some beastmen, well, beast women, I suppose. Like that one over there. She's an Ananta. They've been with us for a while now. Well, one of the smaller factions has. The rest won't have anything to do with us. We're no different from the Garleans to them. They keep to themselves, spending all their time crafting. No, wait a minute. But they're not the crafting beast tribe. I was just thinking, oh, that's a clue to that, but they're not. They're the battle beast tribe or whatever. Ananta make the most amazing jewelry, by the way. They use magics to twist metals and crystal into shapes you wouldn't believe. It's a pity people hardly ever get to see their work. But then most don't even know they exist. That's enough about them, anyway. Let's take a closer look at the statue of Ralger, shall we? Pretty awe-inspiring, isn't it? As I yawn. The breaker of worlds who guided our ancestors to these lands all those centuries ago. Yida used to tell me the story on stormy nights. She wanted me to understand, to remember. At the end of the 5th astral era, when the waters rose higher and higher, people all across Eorzea beseeched the heavens for a sign. And lo, a burning star appeared in the eastern sky and led the way to these mountains of Girobanya. They who were saved by his grace pledged to honor and revere him, to devote themselves to great works without and within. A storm of blood approaches fast. Hell's open, heavens weep. For no one soul doth lie beyond the measure of his reach. The last part was inscribed on this stone by a monk of the Fist of Rhalgr. Yda explained it to me. A day will come, bringing strife and sorrow that none may escape. Waste not these precious hours, but in quiet preparation make strong the body and mind. I don't know if that storm of blood is finally upon us, but if it is, I have to believe that everything we've been through, everything that has led us to this point, will see us through in the end. Sorry. That was all a bit melodramatic, wasn't it? Let's keep moving, shall we? Off to the infirmary. Of course, we got to know about the infirmary. It's like this is a war we're starting. You're going to see a lot of this. Yeah, they never really did. There's like a kind of a mini jumping puzzle here, but it doesn't do anything. Or did they eventually add a sightseeing log to it? I don't recall. But I think at the beginning there wasn't anything to be gained from it. Oh, we've got... I think I see a Kryl. Oh, and a Y'shtola. We examined the patients and offered what assistance we could. However, for many of these injuries, time and bed rest are the only effective treatments. You too are come to inspect their facilities? As you can see, they have done well to set aside this much space, but their supplies are insufficient. I wonder if that means we missed... I'm going to go check. Maybe it was back with the Ananta thing. Was Alphino and Alize. Assuming they would even still be there at this point. I kind of just figured we wouldn't see any of the other NPCs yet. No, I'm not seeing anything unless they're through here. It may, again, like I said, it may be too late. Yeah. I'll just assume either they weren't here. Actually, for my own sake, I'll just assume they were never here. Alphino and Alize are just nowhere to be found. Or they're somewhere here. Nope. Oh well. Yeah. This is the infirmary. As you can probably tell, here's where the resistance healers patch up the wounded and tend to the sick. No matter how carefully we planned our operations, casualties were inevitable. It's a sad thing to think about, but it's also important to remember the cost, as Conrad would say. We should go. I'll show you the Aetheryte Plaza next. And maybe Alphino and Alize are over there. And I just wasted time running around looking for them. When you've seen one Aetheryte, you've seen them all, right? Not quite. This one's an older design, dated back decades to when the Fist of Rhalgr was still here. It may look a little different, but it works just as well as any other. I'll show you where the settlers are next. But don't forget to attune to the Aetheryte before we go. Oh, okay, she takes me back here anyway. Oh, and then this is where they pop back up. Ah, excellent. They've no shortage of settlers here, should we have need of their services. Hardly surprising. Where there is war, there is profit to be had. Arms, armor, potions, you name it. These folks have got it. The resistance would be in a bad way without brave merchants to keep it provisioned. If you're short on anything, or you need something repaired, these are the people to speak to. Oh, Alphino and Alize are here. Why don't we see how they're getting on? If you need to buy anything, now might be a good time. Okay. A bargain struck. Alize is nodding approvingly at the settlers. Come to take the measure of our friendly neighborhood merchants? They're a bold lot, that much is plain. If the Imperials found out they were peddling their wares to the Resistance, they would be lucky to escape with their lives. 'Tis a gamble, aye, and I admire their courage, but their motives could hardly be said to be altruistic. Well, I mean, some of them is just maybe just trying to make a living. Ah, here you are. I've been looking all over for you. We finished discussing your proposal, and we're ready to receive you all back at the tent. I've sent someone to fetch Stola and Kryl, so if you'd like to follow me. Oh, moved us close by. We'll begin once the others arrive. Sorry to have kept you waiting, but matters such as these demand due deliberation. Okay, the rest are not here.
Thank you all for waiting. We have reached a consensus. I, Conrad Kemp, do hereby accept the Eorzean Alliance's proposal. You must understand, however, that our cooperation comes with certain caveats.
Those caveats being...
I take no joy in this, just so you know. Were it within my power, I'd offer you more assistance. But the Resistance is far more fragmented than you realize. The men and women in my care belong to but one of many factions. Simply put, I can only speak for the people of Rolga's Reach. Now, I have every intention of appealing to the others, and I expect many will agree. But it will take time, and I cannot guarantee universal support.
Understood. I shall see that the Alliance is under no misapprehensions as to your position.
Much obliged. But that's not the whole of it. As you can imagine, the loss of those who cast their lot with the Griffin left us short on numbers. Some of our most trusted veterans died at the wall, and we've had to fill their posts with the young and inexperienced. Frankly, everything's in a right bloody mess.
Oh, we'd be more than happy to help you get back on your feet. If we're going to work together, we'll be doing ourselves a favor.
Well, there's no shortage of work to be done, that's for sure. We're in dire need of new blood, too.
Ishtola and I could lend a hand in the infirmary. From what I saw, they could do with a few more healers.
Very well. I, for my part, shall return to the Rising Stones. I'm certain there are others among the Scions who would welcome the opportunity to fight for Alamegan liberation.
Is there anything else we can do to help?
I had something else in mind for you lot. Monargo and Mefred will tell you more.
Understood. We won't let you down.
What have they got in mind? What a relief. For a moment there, I wasn't sure which way it was going to go. Ha! As if there were any doubt. Now that we've dealt with the formalities, we can get to work. I'm glad you're with us, friend. Pinch me if I'm dreaming, but I'd swear it's finally happening. The whole of Eorzea committed at last to the liberation of Alamigo. Right then, Minago and Mefred are to be our keepers. Knowing not of what they require, one task is as good as the other. Make your choice, Lavenza. Thank you all for watching. Tonight's stream went really well. We finished Heaven's Word and got a little ways into Stormblood. We actually managed to clear Raubon Extreme. So if you want to join the fun, the link to my Twitch is in the description down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again for watching, and have a good one.